Hi there, my name is Scott Manis. I'm the owner of MidTex Mapping Services, and I wanted to do some videos about my website and about the features of the products that we have, hopefully to answer some questions that you may have when you first come to the website and looking at our products. So I've got the website up here. We're looking at the Texas County Maps page, the MidTex Texas County Map series. It's a digital layered, high-resolution georeferenced vector database available for every county in the state of Texas. And in fact, approximately about 99% of the state is available now on download, immediate purchase. So I'm very proud of that. And this particular product is the basis for this Texas well data product, which I'll cover in a different video. Okay. So the Texas County Maps product is what we're going to be talking about, and so I wanted to show you a little bit about how that works and how you can purchase it, and we'll look at the maps as well. So you click the buy button, you pick the county that you're interested in. One of our counties that we've used as a sample is the Somervell County. You click search, and you'll see a bunch of files show up here, and that's one point of confusion for some people. What you need to note here is the source date. That's the date that the data was last refreshed, not last processed. So this was when we actually purchased the data from the state. Okay. So if there's any processing updates, we reprocess, but the source date doesn't change. We have to actually purchase data for that date to change. So I disclose that. This projection here indicates the mapping projection of the file. Now, if you know what that means, then you can fly through this. If not, then you may need a little bit of education. You can click on this projection link and it'll give you some extra information about what a projection is. I have put the NAD 27 state plane US feet, and of course this 4202 stands for Texas North Central projection zone. This is perhaps the most used still, although NAD 83, we'll go down a little bit, NAD 83, either state plane or geographic, is also quite common as well. Certain projections only have certain file types, and I tend to put the shape files only in the geographic projections, so that's one thing to note. If you want it in another projection, call me up and I will make it for you. And it doesn't cost anything additional to do that. Okay, so you just drop that in your cart, and if you're done, then you proceed to checkout, and you're going to see, something that's very similar or very common to most people. If you don't have an account, then you can create it right here. Okay, now I have already gone through this process, so let's log in to my account. And by the way, this account will be removed once the video is posted. So, just so you know. And then we can go to My MidTex. Now what this My MidTex is where is the holding tank really after you've gone through the purchase process. I didn't go through that process, of course. But after you've gone through that, and if you get a little lost, then you can come back to the website, log in, go to My MidTex, and there you'll see your file. And we see the Somervell file. It's the FIPS code 425, NAD 27, state plane coordinate system 4202, which is again Texas North Central. It's in US feet. It's a DWG file, which is an AutoCAD file, and R14 is the version of AutoCAD, which is a very old version, very common format for a lot of different products to be able to consume. That's why I used something that's so far back there. Now, you will download this file, and I am going to just save it where it wants me to save it. And it says the download is completed. This is where another place where people can get confused. So if you've got, this is Windows 7 of course with Internet Explorer 9 I believe, you can just open that folder and it'll take you right there to the file, which is pretty handy. Let's right click on that file, go up here to extract all, and what's going to happen is it's going to let you, browse to any location you might want to. I'm just going to let it put it where it wants to put it, but you could browse to any location to extract the contents of that zip file. And on top of that, once you do that, it's going to open up a new Explorer, Windows Explorer I should say, window that will show you what just got extracted. Now look at this well file first. It's a CSV file which will open up in Excel or any modern spreadsheet. And you see here, we'll just look at this very briefly. I'll put those in bold. And there's a neat little feature you can do, view freeze panes, so that as we scan down here you see the data. I have put it such that we have surface data, which is prepended by surf, and then also bottom hole data, which is prepended by the BH. There's some reliability codes, symbol names, things of that nature. This is the basic well file. It's not going to have any header information. It'll just have a location and a status code, basically, is what it truly boils down to. And it's going to be in the projection of whatever you purchased. I also another feature here is that I do provide longitude, latitude, and XY. In the event that that is helpful for you, you can use that. Surface symbol name. A lot of these are in Somerville. There's a lot of horizontal drilling, of course, so you've got a lot of surface symbol names that are horizontal drain holes, and the bottom hole symbol name tells you what they hit. And of course you see a lot of gas wells in here, as you might expect. So just a little bit of a tutorial on that. Now, if you're interested in extra data, I do have another video out, or will have another video, I should say, out there that will explain the differences between the basic well file and the extended well data. And again, if you want to see from the standpoint of the website, we're again looking at this Texas County Maps product. The Texas well data is the Texas County Maps with a Excel file that includes additional well data. They're basically similar except for the amount of well data that you get. Okay, another thing that comes up sometimes is the pricing. Of course, if you noticed when we searched the county maps, click the wrong thing at first, you'll see, like in Brooks County, the price of it is $49. Whereas if we look at the price here, let's look at Brooks County again, and it's going to be $86. And what's the difference? Well, $86 is the price of the county if you have it refreshed. So let's say that you want the latest and greatest data. You have to call me up and I will refresh it, and the price of that data is going to be $86. In the case of Brooks County that we just saw, that's available for download, note here that it's getting almost well, it's about 9 months old at the time of recording this video. So that may be fine for you. You may only care about the land grid, for example. Well, then this product will probably be fine. If there's been a lot of activity in an area, then you will probably want to purchase a brand new one. So that's the difference. Okay, so we've downloaded the file, unzipped it, and discussed a little bit about the differences in the dating of the files, or the up-to-date nature of the files. Okay, so let's take a look at AutoCAD. Take a look at the file in AutoCAD. I'm going to start up AutoCAD. It's going to complain to me now that I'm in a low resolution. That's fine. I wouldn't normally be in this resolution, but it should work pretty well for you to be able to see it in full screen mode and be able to read everything. And so we're going to open that file, and it's of course conveniently located right where the download was because I've opened it before. But important to note, in this case, if you have downloaded it and it's put in your downloads folder, it's going to be probably on your C drive under users, and then whatever your user name or your handle is, then the downloads folder, and then of course from that we extracted it and it created this folder. So now I'm in this folder. File name matches the folder name, We open it up, and there's Somervell County. It's a small county, and that's why we use it for demo purposes. Now, in AutoCAD it's kind of nice because I can roll the mouse wheel up and down and zoom around. If I push the mouse wheel button in, then I can pan. I can find my way around the map pretty easily. Let's take a look at one of these wells. This is the surface location symbol, the pentagon, and the bottom hole symbol in this case is a gas well. And of course that's the status really of this well as of May 23rd, 2012, if you remember back that far in our video. That's the source date of this data. So at that time this well was a producing gas well. The last 5 digits of the API number are displayed. The first 5 digits you probably know, but if you don't know, then this is a good discussion for you, will always be in the state of Texas 42, because that's our state code, and it'll be the county number, which if you forget, it's in the file name. It's right up here, 425. So 4242530 will be the unique identifier, what's called the API number of this well, and then 1H will be the well number itself. Okay, a little bit about layering and what we do with layers. Let's see if we can get that a little bit smaller. I guess that's part of the reason why it complained to me about my screen resolution. That's fine. All of our layers are prepended by RRC_. So just to kind of go through these layers, this is the airport layer. It's in green. The cemetery layer is also in green. The city boundary, if there are city boundaries, or for very small cities it'll just be the name of the city in red text. The CTY layer, the RRC CTY layer, is the county boundary layer, not to be confused with city. Government lands are in green. Pipelines are in light blue, cyan. Railroads are in white or black, depending on the background color of your particular AutoCAD configuration. Roads are in red. Shipyards are in red as well. I don't think we've got any in Somervell, but subdivision layer, if there are if land areas are subdivided, then you will see this particular layer filled in with lines as well. Survey layer, it's the basic block section survey abstract layer with text annotations. Water features are all in blue, whether they're shorelines or lakes, lake boundaries, or creeks and rivers. And then the wells are actually broken up into 4 different layers. The annotation of the wells, you can turn those on and off. Bottom hole locations you can turn on and off. The drill lines, which are those dotted lines between the surface and the bottom, can be turned on and off and change color and so forth. And then the surface locations as well. So sometimes folks don't want a whole lot of information on here. Maybe you don't care where the cemeteries, the airports, city boundaries. Probably want to know where the government boundaries are. You may not want to know where the roads are, and the water you might want to turn off. Okay, so let's zoom extents, and so you have a map that is a little less busy perhaps. And one of the reasons why we put the layers as an RRC underscore on the front is if you want to turn everything, sorry, goofed up. If you want to turn everything back on, layer on RRC star, and then everything turns back on. If you really like to use the keyboard or you're faster that way, then that's why we do that. Okay, next feature I'd like to show you is an application. Actually, comes from an application that we have created for you. MidTex GIS. So we'll open that. Notice that I use net load. You can also throw that into the app load, and it will load every time if you want it to load every time in your particular copy of AutoCAD. You can do that. And this gives you some features with the pipelines. If I mouse over the pipeline, then you'll get a tooltip. It shows you the operator, the diameter of that particular line. Is it an interstate line down there? Yeah, it is. That must be why it's 26 inches in diameter. It's a big line. What system it's in, the P5 number, what it's carrying, and so forth. So in addition to that, there's a feature where you can label these lines if you want, and you type the command MTEX AP. So MTEX is our unique code for MidTex, and that's registered with Autodesk. And then the AP is annotate pipe, is where that comes from. Hit that, select entity, and then you can rotate in the text that you want to insert. I did this on purpose because this is what you would see in most cases, that it looks like all I did was put in a dot. Well, if we zoom in here, you'll see the same information that we saw in the tooltip, except it's just way too small. And so why is that? Well, it gets its text size off of the AutoCAD's text size variable value, and that defaults for most drawings at 0.2. I find that maybe about 50 to 80 is about as small as you should go on these particular maps. If you have a geographic projection map, then it's going to be way different because the coordinates are way different. But so let's try this again. MTeX AP, select the entity, we'll rotate it in here, and this time it's big enough so that you don't have to zoom in so far and see it. So that's the MidTex GIS application as it applies to pipelines. So that's about it. I'd like to go back to our website and show you a few things in parting. Back to the Texas County Maps page. Notice there's a free samples page. You can come in here and you can download these particular samples. They're a little bit older than the one that I showed you online, but you know, that'll give you something to kind of play around with, both in the DWG and the DXF format. And then there's also Harris County as well. You can kind of play with that too. And in addition to that, on top of the page, if you want to get in touch with me, everything you need to know is right here on every page, info@midtexmapping.com. I have an 800 number I want you to call if you have any questions. Please feel free to do that. It is not an international 800 number, so if you're in Canada or another country, then you'll have to dial the 214 number up there. So again, my name is Scott Manis. Thank you for watching my video. Please watch the other videos of our other technologies as they become available from MidTex Mapping Services.